Hello there, Jasmine de Charlie here. Thank you for tuning in. This video I want to talk about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's coming up. Right, so it's quite close conjunction at the moment anyway, so things, we've seen things happening already that are related to the theme of Saturn and Pluto. And it's in Capricorn. It's an earth sign. Capricorn rules things like property, so we've seen obviously things going on, with the property business, like initially when Pluto went into Capricorn, we saw, first of all, there was loads of houses being built all around everywhere, and then everything slumped for a while. The banks we've seen the banks going up and down, so many problems, and also the governments, politicians, we've seen so many changes, ups and downs. This is all the theme of Capricorn, and it's being triggered and influenced obviously by Pluto and Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma, and Saturn is it makes us learn lessons the hard way, in a way, because it can be a hard taskmaster, but it is the teacher, and Saturn will obviously push us to learn our lessons in one way or another. But it is also the planet of delays and limitations and restrictions. So that's why, maybe we've seen, look at this Brexit things, the delays that we've had with this, so many dates, and then we keep having delays. And so this is very much the Pluto and Saturn theme. And so we're also coming, to the end of 2019 soon. And so, we've already entered into November, and very soon, we'll be seeing the end of the year, end of December, and turning into a new year. But also, we finish this cycle of, because the 2019 is an ending of a cycle, and we are heading into 2020, so we move into the 20s, and so the numerology is just going to change dramatically. So we're in a turning point of dramatic changes. End of the year, end of this cycle, this decade, and then, with the Saturn Pluto theme, it's all about breaking down the chaos. I've just done a video today with my co-author, because I've just written a piece in a book that's going to be out soon. The book's name is Voices of Hope, and I wrote a story in there about a part of my life where it was a huge turning point. And the reason I've brought it up in here is because with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction coming up, when I had that huge turning point, I actually had a Pluto-Saturn square, and the square is tougher than the conjunction. The square really challenges you, and at that time my life was hugely challenged in all areas and directions. With the Saturn-Pluto, there are challenges, especially with the themes that I've just mentioned to do with the Saturn and the Pluto. Now, I've mentioned quite a bit about the Saturn theme, but a little bit more about the Pluto. Obviously, Pluto breaks everything down. It is huge transformation, powerful transformation, because it actually rules the word power. And so endings, with the Pluto, once the ending is, once it breaks down, really breaks down completely, then the transformation has to happen, and the new beginnings. There's a rebirth. But you know, it's easy to say the words, but when I've gone through this Saturn Pluto square and looking back at that time, I went through huge trauma because you know, Scorpio is the sign of both trauma and psychological issues. And so people that are going through the chaotic uprise at the moment, okay, because of all the way the planetary configurations are happening, then, you know, there are changes. People may be losing property. They may be losing houses. People may be losing jobs. So money is going to be affected. You know, people may be breaking up in long-term relationships. People may be having to move countries. You know, like we've been having all the refugee issues hugely since Pluto went into Capricorn, because Capricorn is an earth sign. You know, it rules home, it rules family, and that's an area that's being hugely broken down at the moment. You know, what is family? What is home? Where is home? And where, in terms of family, what I've realized is family structures are breaking down, because we have to learn that it's not just about the biological family, but we have to move away from this third dimensional type of living, because everything is emanating and vibrating to a higher level of the fifth dimension. And so we are meeting soul families that we are connecting on in terms of our vibration, the level that we're vibrating on, and the work that we're doing on ourselves. Because when we are moving on and doing this work, it could be that the family, the biological family, are not moving at the same pace, and so we have to let them be until they're ready to move, you know, forward. But we have to carry on. So if you've moved forward already, you have to carry on. And then obviously those that you're leaving behind, at a later date, whenever they're ready, they'll catch up. But in the meantime, you have to keep going with your vibration, with how you're moving on. And you know, because otherwise, with the Scorpio being the house of trauma, the changes in themselves are traumatic enough. But then, obviously, there's healing that needs to be done, immense healing for these traumas that are going on. And so, you know, the healing is very much about bringing back the love, whether you bring it back yourself or with the help of other people or together. And that's a huge part of this journey, you know, the love aspect, because that's what's greatly missing. So that a lot of this breaking down is happening, and it's chaotic, but from that should emerge quite a lot of good things, because when you have a breakdown, there has to be a breakthrough of something or other. Okay, so hopefully, you know, you can make the breakdown be a positive to a breakthrough, because that's what I'm seeing and experiencing that is happening around the world, on our planet, with a lot of people. What might also appear quite negative or initially, you know, may actually be something that, you know, is positive in the long run. You know, it may actually be like a blessing in disguise, because sometimes what appears to be really awful that is happening, for the bigger picture of where the soul needs to go and is heading, it could be something really great that occurs out of that eventually. So, you know, there is so much change happening, there is so much going on, and I know that there is everything feels quite chaotic, and you know, things feel like they're all over the place. But what you've got to remember is that Saturn is also about structure. And so out of all this breakdown and chaos is going to be new structure. Maybe the breakdown of the you know, old structures is not you know, serving us anymore, and therefore we need to, through the breakthrough, plan new structures, because from all this breakdown and ending, there has to be new things coming out of it. There has to be new beginnings. So this is where maybe the new structures are going to be put into place that are going to serve us better and help and support us better on a global planetary level. But a lot of this you've got to obviously look at on a personal level and apply to yourself as well. Because, you know, when I had the breakdown of everything in my life with the Pluto Saturn square that was going on back in the late 80s, it was huge. You know, everything around me did break down, everything. I lost everything. And, you know, I'm not just talking about materialistically. I mean, you know, parts of myself, you know, shattered. I had sort of like soul breakdown. So there were parts of me that just really shattered and shattered and shattered, but they needed to, because, you know, like that quote, Rumi says, you know, where the cracks appear, that's where the light comes through. So obviously, you know, we have to crack down if we want the light to come through. And for some of us, obviously, the cracks are deeper for some reason, I don't know. And, you know, maybe we've got more work to do on ourselves. And so, you know, there is, everything always applies on a personal level and then on a planetary level. Because, you know, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So if we want to see a better world, a better future for ourselves and our descendants, you know, because it's not just about ourselves, you know, we may be like suffering things that maybe obviously going back to our ancestors, you know, that they didn't do properly. So now we have to think about our descendants. How are we living our life for the future of our, you know, our children and their children and all future generations? You know, it is about a future for everybody. Everybody, you know, counts. Who lives, you know, obviously on this planet. Not just the human beings either, all the animals, the plant life, you know, the minerals, everything. We have to take into account, you know, the oceans, the rivers, the whole of nature, you know, like our rainforests are being destroyed, and you know, there's fires that are just coming about everywhere. And this is part of the breakdown, sadly to say. Some things are not right. Some things, you know, are quite deceptive, I feel. But the truth will come out. When we keep moving into the light, the truth will come out, because the light is all about the truth. And the more energy where we head towards the fifth dimension, it becomes more and more about the light and about the truth. And, you know, so a lot of the deceptive behavior will be left in the third dimensional realm. And so it can only be a good thing. Break down to break through. The turning point is there. It is happening. It is happening now. And, you know, where are you with all these changes in your life? So, at the end of it all, I just would like to say my name is Jaswinda Chally, and I am a therapist. I trained to be a therapist because of all these things that had happened to me to help other people. So I'm here. I do a lot of astro-shamanic work. I do journeying. I do psychotherapy. I do this thing called journey where I just work with everything within that. Okay, so if you're interested, then please do contact me. You have to obviously be ready and willing, because I'm kept quite busy with a lot of the stuff that I do. So you have to be ready and willing to undertake the journey. Obviously, I would do a consultation with you and talk to you first, to see what I can do for you. So I recommend that if you are going through massive changes, or you just don't know what's going on for you at the moment, then maybe if I can be of help and support, then maybe we can get together and discuss. Okay, so I will continue to be posting more and more of these videos with the view of helping and supporting with what's going on a planetary level, and also how these affect us on a personal level. So whenever I can also give you tips, I will do. And so with the what I said right at the beginning of this video, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, us moving into a new decade, coming to the end of this year, everything is about a turning point. We are turning a corner here, and it's what's down that road. What do you want to be down that road, that new road that you're going to turn into? What do you want to be there? You do have personal responsibility. Okay, like I said, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Okay, so I'm going to leave you there. Hope you enjoyed listening to this video, and as I said, I'll be back soon, and take care, look after yourselves. Bye.